Hi everyone, Emily W. here. This is for CI 5361. This is my favorite website, and I chose to use the University of Minnesota Extension website. So obviously, if you recall, this is the organization or part of the university that I work for, and so this is a website that I use very, very often for my work, for reference material especially. So just want to take you through a really quick tour. I don't have time to show you everything, unfortunately, but I just want you to know that Extension does so much more than just agriculture. So we have 4 major areas in Extension, and you can kind of see them broken down in different ways across the top of the page here on this yellow ribbon. So agriculture, that's kind of the backbone or the founding part of Extension. It's related to the land grant mission of the University of Minnesota, and cooperative extension as a whole was originally created for land grant universities to share what they were learning in agricultural field trials. So agriculture is still a huge part of Extension, but in our center we are AFNR, so we are agriculture, food, which you see over here, and natural resources, which you see under the environment. We also have community vitality, so you can learn more about them on the community tab. They do things like helping communities be more vibrant, establishing local tourism, things like that, lots of fun stuff. And then we have family. So that's our Family Development Center, and they do things like family resiliency. They have programs for military families, programs to help parents of divorce, all sorts of things like that. And then we do have our garden section here, which is included in our Ag, Food, and Natural Resources Center. This is the most visited area of our website. I forget how many millions of clicks we get a year on this, but it's a lot. It's the most popular part. You can diagnose plants, identify insects and weeds, things like that. So if you are a home gardener, I really, really advise that you visit this area of our page, because I garden at home and I reference this a lot. And then lastly, youth development. So they're doing youth programs across the state. A big one that most people have heard of is 4-H. And before you think 4-H is just for farm kids, I'm going to tell you it's not just for farm kids. It's for any youth who want to learn more about being better leaders, learning by doing, making the best better. We have more than just ag programs. We do still have those livestock programs, veterinary science, but we also have a lot of STEM programs and robotics and things like that. So if you have kids, I encourage you to check out 4-H because it's a really awesome program. I was in it for 13 years growing up. So there's also this About tab here, so you can find staff around the state, find where our offices are, things like that. And then you can see here our administrators always pick kind of feature stories that they rotate through 4 of them, and they're usually related to the different areas we cover. So for example, here's a youth one right now. But let's go over into the agriculture tab. This is obviously the one that I use the most. So you can see agriculture is broken down into several different areas: crops, livestock, food, agricultural business management, and commercial horticulture. So that would be people who are growing plants for commercial use. So our fruit and vegetable farmers, people who run nurseries, things like that. And so something I really like about the Extension website, and you can kind of see it here if you have good sleuthing eyes, is that they will link the same page in several different areas to make the pathways that people follow very easy. And so one thing I will mention, so here under food, so you can see we have a food section in agriculture, the food safety education. If you were to come back up to this top yellow ribbon, you can also get to it from the food tab, right? But you got to think, some people are going to come in knowing, oh, I need some food safety stuff. So they might come right to food. But we might also have people who are farmers, vegetable farmers, and they go, well, I need agriculture because I'm a farmer. But what they're really looking for is food safety. And then they can still find it under this page. So like I said, I think it's really useful because we all use different thought pathways to find things. And so that's why we link it in several different areas on the page. You'll also notice just within agriculture, there is one area that shows up basically under all the headings except one. And if you haven't found it yet, it is small farms. So you'll find them under crops. You will find them under livestock, under food, and under agricultural business management. So again, that just may be you're looking for something, you know it's on livestock, and you look for all the species areas, but maybe you just have a few sheep or goats, and obviously we don't have a sheep or goats page, but you'll find what you need in the Small Farms tab. So I'll just show you that. So you can go to Small Farms, and then under Livestock, and then here you can find poultry, so that'd be like backyard chickens. So if you have some, please check out this resource. It's awesome. Here's those sheep and goats I talked about. Swine, so if you do some small-scale swine or alternative housing. And then aquaculture is also growing, so we do have a page about that as well. So going back to just the overall agriculture page here. So again, you can see there's all different areas. So crops and then specifically honeybees. So I want to learn about, you know, how I as a crop farmer can do good things for the honeybees or plant buffer strips for honeybees, things like that. So there's that information there. You know, things about classes, so our Institute for Ag Professionals, and then just information. So things about irrigation, about climate and weather and their effects on crops. There's a lot going on here. And then before I get into the nitty-gritty on the livestock stuff, because that's my area, I just want to point out agricultural business management. A lot of people forget that farming does have a business side. I mean, you wouldn't be a farmer if you didn't run it like a business. So we do have a ton of awesome resources. Our ag business management team is second to none. They do an outstanding job. But we're running a little low on time here. I don't want this to go too long, so I am going to click into dairy. This is the page I use the most often. You can see we have it divided into two main sections: dairy business, as I mentioned, the business side of farming, and then dairy production. So that would be any of the day-to-day function of the farm, things like that. So you'll see calves and heifers, so how you take care of the babies, or the young stock we call it. Facilities, how the animals are housed. Health and comfort, manure, how you handle the waste, things like that. And then on the business topics, you know, business tools. Some farms have employees, so we have a lot of information on labor management. Farm life, which I kind of like this tab. I think it's fun, so we'll look at it. So just, you know, talking about, there's some safety stuff on here you can see, talking about planning for the future. If you want to get started in dairy, how to do that. Various industry issues, hot topics, things that are going on, how to deal with stress, something that we do not talk about enough in agriculture. So I'm really happy we have that tab on here for people looking for those resources. So all sorts of stuff. I mean, if you want to host a farm tour, what you need to know. You know, challenges of being a dairy producer, all sorts of things. And so one other thing I want to point out about this, and a lot of our main areas, so the species areas, crops, they have what we call program teams, and then on each web page you can actually find the program team. So these are the people contributing to the pages, running the pages, doing the programming across the state, and so this is how you can find them. So there's our program leader there, Marcia. She's one of my old professors as well, which is fun. So these are all of our research faculty that are on campus or at our research centers around the state. A lot of them are my old professors, so that's kind of fun that I get to work with them now. And then our regional educators, so these are people that also work across the state, but they are educators. They're doing some research, but a lot of it is on-farm, like field trial type research. And then the local educators, so people who are in specific counties can find their educators. So if you're in Scott County, you can come down here and go, oh, Colleen's the person I need to call if I have a dairy question. So you can see them on there. Oh, and there's me. I'm on there too. So you can see I'm part of our dairy team as well. So, we're getting a little long here, so I'm just going to go back to the home page and encourage you all to use this website. Like I said, it's one I use a lot. You know, we all have our knowledge bases, but sometimes I need a little help or a little refresher on topics, and this website is always the first place I come. And honestly, if I can't find what I need here, I will visit the website from another university's extension. So I will use Iowa State, Penn State. Those are the two I use the most often. I've also used Cornell's extension as well. So these websites, I really encourage you to check it out because these are created for you. They are for the public. They're meant to educate you and help you find the resources that you need. That's the entire purpose of Extension. It's the university's outreach branch. So I encourage you to take advantage of that. And thanks so much for following along on my little tour here today.